is King Monic, and today I'm here on the sunny Dust 2 to teach you a bit about AWPing and basically what you have to do and what you want to do, what you don't want to do. So yeah, basically like a little bit of a tutorial on how to be able to AWP well. So let's start off by telling you what an AWP actually is. Well, an AWP is a sniper rifle. It has 10 bullets and it is a really accurate gun on long range. So you do want to keep your distance, and that's where this gun excels in killing enemies from a longer distance. It's not really good to kill enemies from close, but you will have to be able to kill some enemies close up. That's also what you have to do to become a good AWPer. So what is a good AWPer? Well, a good AWPer knows what their enemy position is and where they go. For example, if someone flashed at A long, then an AWPer would know, hey, there is someone coming out of here. I will take this position and I will hold it from here. And if no one pushes out, they might want to rotate to short to watch if anyone comes to short, or even from middle. But also what an AWPer can do is hold single positions for a long time. So for example, just staying here until almost the timer runs out, or until they need to rotate because a teammate has died. So as an AWPer, you will need to be able to find these locations that you are capable of AWPing from. For example, from there. You can also hold from right around here. You can maybe hold from right here, because this isn't like a really used spot, so they might not expect you to be there. And this, for example, is not a good spot because you are exposed from right here and they can just rifle you. And you see, this is pretty close range. You want to have like a really big gap, and what you want to do is take the corner as far as you can, so they won't see you before you will see them. Because if you stand right there and the enemy is right there, he will see you before you can see him. So what you want to do is just want to line up to the wall as far as you can, or like right here, and just be holding it like that. So you need to be able to find those locations, and that's really important for being an AWPer. You will also need to be able to handle your grenades and how you use them. For example, if you want to peek out at long and you know that there is someone in the door, you want to throw a grenade or a flashbang, so they get flashed, or they need to look away, and then you can jump out and shoot them, and you will have the advantage above the other, like above the enemy. And basically what's also really important for an AWPer is that you will need to look at your entire screen, not just where you're focusing on, but you'll also need to see what's happening right there, what's happening all around you. It's, yeah, you need it for basically everything, but for AWPer I feel like it's really important, because people can just sneak up on you while you're holding a position. So you need to be really, you need to know what's in your environment, and you will need to be able to also focus on one spot, but that's only if you're holding a position, and for example you are holding long and your friend is holding short. So then you know there isn't anyone right there, there's anyone behind there, they can only come from there, they can only come from below there. So you will only need to hold this spot, and you can really focus on this area. Also what AWPer needs to do is having a really good game sense of knowing where the enemy is by listening to shots. For example, you hear shots at middle, then you will be able to scope to middle, and you will have that 0.5 second scope advantage, and you don't need to scope in and miss shots. So it's much easier if you know where there are like in generally. You will need to listen for like everything that's happening around you, like grenades, footsteps, people even scoping could give away a really important position of someone, because if you're right here you can hear someone walking or shooting or scoping in the tunnels, so you will know where they are, where they might go, what their possible way of going is, and you will need to take all of these things into your mind and process them, and yeah, that way you just know where they are and you will be able to shoot them like really easily. And also something I really like about being AWPer is if you just hide behind a position and you want to know if anyone is there. For example, my alt account is right there and I can't see him. I just throw a grenade there. Okay, that didn't really work. Let me see if I can. No, I can't buy one. Yes, that was kind of a fail. But if you know that he's right there and you throw a grenade in that direction, and you can see your XP bar right here, it's at 40 right now. But if I would be hitting him, it would probably turn to like 3, 6, 9, whatever, 14 maybe. And I know that there's someone right there, and usually if you hit them for larger amounts of damage, then you know that there's like maybe multiple people there, and that's really important because then you know who is around you. And yeah, I just want to talk about like the do's and don'ts right now, because it might be important to tell you these things that you totally shouldn't do and totally should do. So what you do want to do is hold positions from good angles, like right here. You can see I lined up the door, the maximum of the door with this wall, so I can't see anything from there. And I don't really need to, because I know that there's no one there and they can only come from the door. So you only are visible for this small piece right here. And if you actually draw a line, you will see you will only be visible for this tiny amount of space. And if you were to stand really close to the door, then yeah, you will stick out a lot more. And what you also want to do is always have cover next to you. You don't want to hold a position from right here unless you're really confident that your enemy isn't capable of doing anything, or that you're just YOLOing it because you have like max cash. No, still then, just don't do it. Oh, I can show you the high explosive. So if I would be to stand here and I couldn't see him, I'm just going to throw it because I don't want to fail again. You can see I got 15 XP, so I know that there's someone right there. Also, what you want to do with AWPing is have a really good backup pistol, like a P250, that instantly is capable of instantly headshotting or just does a lot of damage. I don't know if you shoot by the Desert Eagle. I know a lot of, well, not a lot, but a decent amount of people are good with it, but I don't really like using it. It's not for me. CC75 is also pretty good, but due to it having little ammo, may not rescue you from really hard situations where you need to take on 3 or 4 enemies in a really close area, and therefore I prefer the P250 with a lot of ammo and really high damage. So also what you want to do is always gain information. Like if someone dies right there, you saw the name tag disappears, you know that there's an enemy, you can already scope. If you threw a grenade and you've hit damage, then you know, yes, there's an enemy. And even then you can see with the pistol I got 6 damage, so I know he is low. And you're just as an AWPer, I think it's really important to gain a lot of information. So let's talk about the downs. So rushing multiple enemies is really a down. You don't want to push out of dark from B as a CT just to get 1 or 2 picks and give them your AWP. That's the most important reason, because you are giving them your weapon that is worth a lot as the terrorists if they can't afford one. So you don't want to push multiple enemies. You always want to have that advantage of either 1v1ing or 2v1. Counter-Strike is based on, well, not based, but in Counter-Strike you want to get the advantage over the other and over the enemy. So you want to have like a 2v1 against their 1. So you will survive and your teammate will survive and the enemy will die. That will do your team a huge favor. So what you also don't want to do is, if my ult was to AWP from, for example, that corner, that's a really good corner to hold this from, because you're not really exposed. You have plenty of room to hide behind, and you know that they are already scoped in, so you don't want to stand right here and then scope. You might even do this, but if there's an experienced AWPer there, they will just pick you off. So what you might want to do is throw flashbang, but better than that one.
Throwing flashbang.
Like that. And now they are flashed, or they need to look away, and you are able to hold this position, and hopefully they will peek. And if they still don't peek, you can smoke it off and maybe try to flank them and get killed that way. And yeah, so on to the next one. You really don't want to shoot while you're still in the scope, so it takes 0.5 seconds to get accurate. So if I quick scope, miss. Well, that's one hit. That's probably luck, because it's sometimes accurate, but you really don't want to quick scope a lot, or just generally you want to hold longer positions. So that brings me to the tip section, which is probably the last section of this video. You need to know what your enemy is capable of. If there are good AWPers, you don't want to generally peek them. You want to let them come to you if you're a CT, and if you're a T, you just want to try to flash them out. And if you know that there have been like 1 or 2 good AWPers at middle, you just want to smoke it off so you don't get killed. And this is a huge advantage for you, because now you don't have that one player less than you would otherwise have, so your chances of winning the round are a lot higher. And yes, this last tip may seem a little bit obvious, but you really need to practice a lot. Like with your crosshair placement, you want to hit at head level. It might seem a little bit weird to aim a lot higher if you are, for example, trying to shoot one from long, but you really need to know where to shoot. So you don't shoot above them, you don't shoot beneath them, you just shoot them like straight in the face, like that. So yeah, the next video I might want to do a tutorial about either positions, smoking, like improving aim. I will leave a straw poll in the description on which you can vote on what you actually want to see. And yeah, let me know if you thought this was helpful, or if you would like to see something explained more in depth. But this was more of a general view about how to AWP and how to actually deal with enemies. I probably won't do anything for rifles, because I really didn't rifle a lot to know a lot about it, and you might even learn more from other people. But yeah, I will leave a straw poll in the description for you to vote on, and I will hopefully see you in the next tutorial thing for AWPing. Bye bye!